Hi guys, I've got myself in a bit of a pickle this week, so the intro's a little different to normal. I've watched a lot of good things for you this week, and don't forget at the end of the episode I will be revealing the winner of the cinema tickets. So without further ado, let's see what I've been watching this week. The Devil Next Door on Netflix. Thank you everybody who's recommended this one. This is a hard-hitting documentary. What it's about is a guy who was moved to Cleveland after the war, immigrated to Cleveland from Germany or Poland. Years and years later, this team known as the Nazi Hunters, who were going around sort of finding ex-Nazis who had escaped justice. And they found this gentleman in Cleveland who worked at a Ford factory, was a granddad, he sort of lived a very normal life for I think about 40 years or so. They had some information, some intelligence from Russia, and they took this guy from America, took away his American citizenship, and then sent him to Israel to face trial for war crimes. It's quite upsetting in bits. The first episode especially, some of the statements that are read out by survivors. There's one bit involving a little girl, and it just brings tears to your eyes. It's really hard not to get emotional. It's horrific what happened, a disgusting time in humanity. Now, the actual documentary is really interesting. It's 5 parts, about 40 minutes per episode. It's set during one of the first televised trials in history. Throughout the trial, you've got survivors who are given evidence against this gentleman who they feel was Ivan the Terrible, who was one of the worst gas chamber operators, who was known for carrying a sword and just doing brutal acts on the poor people who were executed in the concentration camps, or exterminators they refer to, disgusting. It's a fascinating documentary. It's one of those where which way it's going, to be honest with you. So it keeps you gripped throughout. Really fascinating characters throughout. This is survivors. You can't imagine the horrors that they've seen. And then you've got the lawyers, sort of the Israeli lawyers. He's defended by a Jewish lawyer in Israel, everybody's turned against. And I won't really say much more than that. All I will say is you should watch this. It's really, really fascinating. Taken aside the subject matter, which is very, very serious, as an actual documentary piece, if you liked Making a Murderer, you will definitely enjoy this. Is he the guy that they're portraying to be the guy? There's lots of evidence suggesting yes, then evidence suggesting no, etc., etc. Check that one out, and please let me know what you think in the comments below. Vice on Netflix. Vice is based on Dick Cheney, who was kind of second in command to George W. Bush. I think you'll remember that American president. This is a fascinating insight starring Christian Bale. Yes, that Christian Bale. I'm sorry, Mr. Bale, I didn't mean to mess up your lights. Please stop shouting at me. Who plays Dick Cheney, and he's put on a hell of a lot of weight for this. He's so good at gaining weight, losing weight, and this, you really see him putting a lot of weight. Sam Rockwell plays George W. Bush, and it is an amazing turn. It's one of the best impressions or acting I've ever seen of George W. Bush, and it gives you such a good insight. I don't know how much of it is true. It's really well put together, because obviously it's factual. There's a few elements that are added in for, they've had to guess and make up what they thought went on behind closed doors. It's really enjoyable. Political climate at the moment, there's loads of politics going around. You should watch this, give you a bit of an insight into actually how politics works, behind the scenes. And it's fascinating to see how a man got into power through somebody else, and kind of he was his puppet almost. Don't want to give too much more away. All I will say is a really funny, enjoyable, just easygoing kind of movie. Actually, I was really fascinated by it. There's so many things I didn't know about, the American economy, things like that. It's not too factual, it's entertaining as well. It's really entertaining. Again, check this one out. It's on Amazon Prime at the moment. It was an Oscar buzz film, so I don't know if it actually won the Oscar awards, but I know it was in contention for a few of them. Amazon's got some really good Oscar movies at the moment. Obviously, The Green Book, which I reviewed recently. So check that one out, and let me know what you think in the comments below. The King on Netflix. This movie is based on history, but not solely on true history. It's basically, Shakespeare used to do sort of plays based on history, sort of historic events. It's about Henry V. I think it's the 5th, whatever a V is, I'm pretty sure it's a 5. It's a really, really excellent film, actually. I was so surprised. It's over 2 hours long. I sort of thought, am I in the mood for it? As soon as I put it on, I was gripped. Really well put together. A lot of realistic fight scenes, things like that. It's very brutal. If you like gory fight scenes that are quite realistic, you will like this. Also, if you like history, you will like this. It's about a guy who becomes king, quite young. He was a bit of a tearaway, used to be a bit of a party boy. His dad didn't really want him as king. He ended up basically inheriting the throne by chance due to his brother. Something happened to his brother. If you know history, you'll know this. I don't. As a movie, it's really enjoyable. Robert Pattinson plays French prince who basically kind of instigates this war. When this king goes into power, he gets sent a present from France and it's, you know, very condescending. So what he decides to do is, you know, show him a little lesson. So he goes over there with the army, hoping them to surrender. Turns into a battle, basically. You know, history, you know how things turned out. Turned out all right in the end, I guess. We don't know what's going to be like after Brexit, but let's just see. Robert Pattinson in this movie is excellent playing the French prince. He's really annoying. You just want to punch him in the face. And I mean more than you did in Twilight. Oh, look what he got here. The tiny king with his little petit pois. The language used is modernized. It's not sort of all in Shakespearean terms. It's probably the best sort of action-y history film I've seen in a long time. It reminds me very much of Game of Thrones. If you like Game of Thrones, it's like that without the fantasy. Highly recommend this one. If you're stuck with something to watch, definitely put this on. It's one of Netflix's best produced films to date. They are getting better and better week by week. Let me know what you guys think of this film in the comments below, and let me know if you're a historian buff, what is wrong with it, you know, what's true and what's not. I'd love to know. Thank you very much for tuning in this week, guys. Hope you've enjoyed this week's episode. Got to feel good inside. Do you know why? Because I've got the winner of the pair of cinema tickets right here. Thank you everybody who's taken part. Thank you for all your comments. I really love reading them every week, and I really appreciate all the feedback you give me and recommendations especially. I found some really good little gems thanks to you guys. So keep the comments flowing. Tell your friends and family. They might find it useful. Anyway, without further ado, drum roll please. The winner of the pair of cinema tickets is Stanton Warrior. Well done, Stanton Warrior. The winner was randomly selected, so don't forget to inbox me your details and I will send across the cinema codes for you. So well done on that. Thanks a lot, guys. Enjoy yourselves. Take care, be safe, wrap up warm.